What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. AJ Johnson here, PBA National Champion and KR National Staffer. And today, here at Surfside Bowl, we're gonna teach you how to hook a bowling ball like a pro. What's going on, everyone? So we told you we're gonna talk about how to hook a bowling ball today, and so we're gonna go over some of the basics of that and just kind of the simple fundamentals that we look for in how to properly hook the bowling ball. Throughout your approach, all the way up until you release it, we want to see the fingers underneath on the bottom part of the equator. If we were to draw a line through the middle of the bowling ball as you were holding it throughout your approach, we want to see those fingers stay on the underside of that line to keep it under the equator, so that way your hand can stay under the ball a lot longer, which then will give you a lot more leverage, a lot more power, and be able to let your hand unravel on the bowling ball to create a lot more revolutions, and you'll be able to see your ball hook a lot more. And then we're gonna just look at how your hand comes out of it. You know, a lot of people think that when we hook a ball, we're using our elbow and our forearm and we're rotating all the way around the ball, but that's not the case. Our hand goes up straight through the bowling ball, and all that power and leverage and all the revolutions that we create comes through how our hand comes out of it so fast and unravels through the back of the bowling ball. The hand stays on the inside part of the ball and unravels towards the outside part, and it goes right through the center of the bowling ball, all while maintaining, keeping your hand underneath the equator all the way up until you release it. Now we're going to talk about how we can manipulate that release. So we have our A release is what we like to call. It's just the one that we like to use the most. Our normal release when letting go of the bowling ball that we use on normal conditions and things that when we're bowling good, when we're feeling good, is we're using that release more often. But now we want to manipulate that. So when we're bowling on fresher conditions, so when you start off in league, or if you're bowling a tournament and it's that game 1 or game 2, we want to use a release that's going to allow the bowling ball to roll and be smoother off the back of the pattern, so it doesn't change direction a lot very quickly. And that way it kind of opens the pocket up for you, makes it a little bit bigger, so that way you can manage the lane a little bit better and see the shape a lot better. And then we're going to get into how when lanes start to transition, when we move left, wrapping our hand around it, getting a lot more axis rotation on the bowling ball to be able to get the ball to go further down the lane before it starts to hook, so that way you can use the lane to your advantage. And having all these releases and being able to do different things like we talked about on the fresh, our normal, when we move left, and maybe some couple things in between that you can find and tweak yourself. Having all of these is very important, and we want to practice these as much as possible, so that way when you go bowl tournaments or you're bowling league, you're not afraid to use them, you're not afraid to go to them whenever you see it necessary. So that way you can implement them into your game no matter where you're bowling on, no matter what condition you're on. Whenever you see a situation that calls for using one of those releases, you can go to it right away with no hesitation at all. And so I'm going to show you a drill that I've used ever since I was in college, that we've worked on in doing different releases, whether it's up the back, around it, normal, whatever, you name it. We're going to get into the drill that we talked about earlier. Okay, this is one that I've used since college, even sometimes now when I need to fix something. This is a no step, and it's getting into the finish position at the line. So you want to get down into the finish position, and you want to hold this spot. Okay, now what we want to see is we want to get that hand underneath the equator of the bowling ball in a strong position. You're going to swing, you're just going to lightly swing this from your shoulder freely. We don't want to control it, we don't want to muscle it, we just want it to swing really nice and free. We want to keep that hand underneath the equator, and we want the hand and the forearm to fire through the middle of the bowling ball, applying a little bit of rotation so that way the ball can hook the best way possible. And we don't want to use the shoulder, we don't want to use the elbow wrapping around it. We want everything to fire straight through the bowling ball as easily as possible and as strong as possible, so that way you can get the most power and leverage out of this release. That's all we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Tell us what you think. give us some insights on what you liked about it, maybe what we could do, what else we could show you, and things that we can do in videos going forward. But be sure to follow along, follow KR Strike Force, follow myself, AJ Johnson, out next year when we start on tour in the 2025 season.